Switching gears here, here's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez speaking recently at some kind of event. And she made an interesting, I think, admission. Listen to this.
To be ethical, if you're a billionaire today, the thing that you need to do is give up control and power. So I don't want your money as much as we want your power. The people, not me. That's gonna get cut and clipped.
Yes, yes, it will, AOC. Yes, it will. It will get cut and clipped. We want your power, she says, which is one of the most horrifically honest things we've heard from a politician in quite some time. It's always, we say we want politicians to be honest, and I want them to be honest, but it's always horrifying when they are, because then you hear stuff like that. And yeah, fine, she corrects herself and says, no, not me. I don't want your power. Fine, all right, I'll let her correct herself. We don't want to jump on someone's case for a slip of the tongue. But what actually does she mean when she says we? Who is we? You know, she says, well, she says the people. She's referring to the people. All right, well, what do you mean by the people? Are the people a monolith that can be given power, whatever that means? Can you take power from one individual person and then give it to the people? Well, we know from past experience that generally when Democrats, especially socialists, talk about, not that there's much difference between the two anymore, when they talk about the people, what they mean is the government, the state. So she's saying that she wants the power of billionaires, not just the money, but the power to go to the people. But what that means, what we know that means, is the government. So when she said we, she really did mean herself, because she's a part of the government. She's an agent of the state. And I think this brings up an important point, which is this. All of this demonizing of the wealthy, all of this stuff about taking money from the wealthy, taking power from them. Well, okay, but when you advocate for that, you're advocating that the government get bigger and stronger and more powerful. And this is something I wish especially Democrat voters would be able to understand, that you as a peon, me as a peon, we remain peons in both scenarios. So whether billionaires have all that money and power or the government takes it, either way, you know, we're still the peasants in the situation, unfortunately. I don't like it, but that's the reality. AOC and Bernie and her ilk, they're not going to make us any richer or us any more powerful than we already are or aren't. They're talking about this for themselves. You know, this is something they benefit from. It's like we talked about last week with the student loan, and this week too, I think, the so-called student loan forgiveness. And we talked about how it's not really forgiveness, it's transfer. You're taking the debt, the student loan debt, and you're transferring it from the people who took out the loan, and it would seem, by all rights, should be the ones to pay back, and you're transferring that debt to somebody else. And by Elizabeth Warren's plan and Bernie Sanders' plan, it's going to be those dreaded billionaires and millionaires again. So it's really a transfer. And with what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is talking about, again, it's a transfer. It's not taking away the wealth or the power from billionaires. It's transferring it from billionaires to herself and the government. And if you think you're going to be any better off with the government being more powerful than it is, then I think you just haven't been paying very close attention. Thank you for tuning in to The Daily Wire, one of the fastest growing conservative outlets in the entire country. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and then subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any of our content.